Hi everyone, welcome to the 2020 NYJTL Virtual Leadership Luncheon. I am Michelle Yu and I'm honored to be your MC today, and I cannot wait to share the amazing stories and heartwarming efforts New York Junior Tennis and Learning has undertaken this past summer, through a pandemic no less, to support the children of New York City. New York Junior Tennis and Learning was founded in 1971, and its work and deep commitment to our communities improves the well-being of thousands of children each year in all 5 boroughs. As we like to say, New York Junior Tennis and Learning is NYC essential. When COVID swept in, NYJTL got to work. The ACES after-school program immediately switched thousands of students from in-person to virtual learning, and once cleared, the community tennis program opened 8 outdoor summer locations serving hundreds of children. And with that being said, let's get right to it. I am so happy to introduce to you the man who has allowed us to join together here today. Lawrence, his family, and the Benenson Family Foundation have underwritten the NYJTL Leadership Luncheon for the last 35 years. Their commitment has been unwavering during these unprecedented times, ensuring that every dollar raised today helps to provide free tennis and educational programming to under-resourced New York City children. I am honored to introduce to you Lawrence Benenson.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the New York Junior Tennis and Learning Annual Luncheon. It's great to see you. It's great for you all to be here. It's great for all of us to be anywhere. I'm very happy for my family to continue the tradition started by my father in the early 80s of underwriting this annual luncheon. Why do we underwrite the luncheon every year? Because we want all of your donations to go straight to helping children in New York City. Since May, teachers have been teaching tennis, sportsmanship, socialization skills, and most importantly this year, fulfilling the emotional needs of thousands of children in New York City. Thank you, Polly Scott, Fan Lee, and Peter Malkin, for your thoughtfulness, your time, your donations as my co-chairs. Thank you for supporting the New York Junior Tennis and Learning. See you next year, in person, I hope. Between now and then, see you on the courts.
Lawrence, thank you so much. NYJTL will forever be indebted to you and your family for your incredible generosity throughout all these years. You and your family have made this time together possible, and we are so pleased to say that because of your commitment, all proceeds help to fund free essential programming for New York City's most vulnerable youth. Now let's take a look at one of the NYJTL community tennis program sites at Roosevelt Island and learn a little bit more about how their efforts are going strong supporting families. NYJTL's tennis sites continue to operate throughout 2020, serving as a refuge and a home away from home during a turbulent time. The SANTAMARIA family has been playing with NYJTL for 17 years. As former participants and now staff members of NYJTL, they relied on tennis programming as a safe haven while their father battled COVID. Please meet the SANTAMARIA family.
My family is really proud of me that I'm going to be graduating college this year, and they're really happy that I'm doing what I love, giving back to the community.
Marianna, she started in NYJTL when she was 4 years old. She loved it. I used to take her to tournaments in the Bronx and Flushing. She's now in St. John's University. She wants to be a dentist. She's still playing and working for NYJTL.
When he put us in the program, he wanted us, to have something to keep us busy. And, I've been trying to work harder, so, he's always proud of us, proud of me and my brother.
He sees me trying my hardest to be the best coach that I could possibly be.
Victor Manuel, he's my older son. He's 24 years old. He started to play tennis in NYJTL 17 years ago. He was 7 years old.
I've been teaching since I was 16. I'm still growing, and I still want to become a better tennis player, and also I want to become a better tennis instructor.
My younger son is Eduardo Santamaria. He's 11 years old. He's going to be in middle school this year.
My dad got sick and he got corona, and then he's been in the hospital for 3 months almost. And then once he came out, he had to he had to rebirth his whole life.
Makes me really happy that he's back and that he sees motivation for him to keep moving forward, to try harder to recover.
Now it's extra special because, like I say, God gave me another opportunity and see my kids back in court playing, and my younger one also trying to do the same thing that the oldest is very. I feel very proud of them.
I want to give back to the NYJTL program because tennis taught me a lot personally. It allowed me to be kept off the streets. It allowed me to be motivated. It gave me confidence, and it gave me something to concentrate on.
Thank you to NYJTL because doing this program is really helpful, and I appreciate every moment.
And now, let's welcome our keynote speaker for today, New York One's Pat Kiernan.
Good to be with you. I would imagine that a lot of the people assembled here today have a particular fondness for the last week of August and the first week of September when the US Open is in town. It's just, to me, such a perfect New York event. It's got excitement, it's got drama, it's got celebrity, it's got unpredictability, it's got buzz. For me, the moment when they announced the tournament was going to happen this year in empty stadiums was one of those moments when the pandemic really sunk in. And I want you to keep that remark in context because a tennis tournament is not life or death like so much of the pandemic was. But it was one of those moments when it sunk in that everything about this year is different. And usually when I say different, I don't mean for the better. I do have to confess that there was a selfish moment that I had in the weeks just before the US Open, after we knew that it was going to be an event with no fans. Because for several years, we have picked a day at New York One that we do a live broadcast of my morning show from the Tennis Center. It kicks off our coverage of the US Open. So I think it was July. I got an email that said, your US Open press credential has been approved. So for about 2 minutes, I thought that meant that I was going to be one of the 24 people actually allowed inside Arthur Ashe Stadium and I could watch in person. But then I clicked into the email and I realized that having a press credential in 2020 basically gave me permission to watch on TV from home like everybody else. I know from this gathering that all of you share my love for those 2 weeks in late summer. And that's part of why you are supportive of the work of the tennis and education programs of New York Junior Tennis and Learning. I want to take a couple of minutes to put those programs into the context of what we're all going through in 2020. I have never covered a bigger news story than this one, the coronavirus pandemic. I was at the anchor desk on September 11th, a terrible day for the city and for the country. I assumed at the time, and I hoped at the time, that would be the biggest story I ever had to cover. And it was, and then Hurricane Sandy came along. And I don't know how those two rank ultimately, but Hurricane Sandy was certainly almost as big a news story. It wasn't frightening in the same way September 11th was, but it affected so many people in so many different ways that it is into the same realm as September 11th. I think this pandemic is a bigger story because it has reached into our lives in a way that no other moment in my lifetime has. At this stage, late in the year, we've found ways to have pieces of our usual routines, but it's all just taking one piece at a time, trying to be a little bit normal. If you think back to the dark moments in the spring, we were all at home and scared and frustrated, separated from our friends and families, and we were without our usual routines. You couldn't do the things that you usually do to keep your sanity. It's really hard to have all your routines taken away from you. Even if you know that it's being done for the right reason, even if you know that it's being done for the greater good. So early in the pandemic, tennis was one of my routines that I managed to hang on. I would grab my wife and my youngest daughter who's willing to play with us. We'd find an outdoor court. We would play some Canadian doubles, the three of us. And for half an hour, there was no pandemic. It was just the three of us playing tennis. We're a long way from the pandemic being over. But to put this into the context of today, I think it's important that we keep up with the little things, like tennis. It's not important in the same way that it is to have hospitals fully staffed. It's not important in the same way it is to make sure that schools can operate safely. But teaching tennis to kids is one of those moments that takes us away from all the adult responsibilities. Time is not standing still for our kids. They need these things to continue. They're not just on hold. They need something in their lives other than school on Zoom. New York Junior Tennis and Learning is one of those special organizations that helping New York City kids and is helping them rise through the pandemic. NYJTL staff, an essential part of keeping our community healthy in New York City. And it's in that context that the things that you might think of as less important have actually become really important. I'm glad we've all found time to be here today to support New York Junior Tennis and Learning and to help us ensure that everything we love about New York is on solid footing in 2021 so it can all come back. Thanks for having me here today.
Pat, thank you so much. You have not only been a great colleague to work with during my time at New York One News, but most importantly, you have truly provided a voice to New York City throughout the pandemic. You were on the front lines and reported on stories like the SANTAMARIAs and essential services like NYJTL, so we thank you once again. Now, during the pandemic, NYJTL was still able to provide services in limited capacity to programs like the one in Co-op City in the Bronx, where community tennis brings kids out 6 days a week under the watchful eye of NYJTL staff. They are what keeps us going. To better understand the passion of this work, let's take a moment together to witness the ginormous efforts of its staff. Meet Coach Lorraine Ralston-Alexander.
Growing up, I have always loved tennis, and we lived in an area near Portona Park. And I used to see people over there playing tennis, but I never saw a person of color. I spoke to my mom, and she said, "We'll find someone to teach you." And after learning how to play tennis, I met Milton Alexander right here on these tennis courts, and we became tennis teachers. Every year we went to Hilton Head and learned all we could from Dennis Vandermeer and brought it back to our community.
I want to say, Miss Lynn, thank you for everything. Everything. Like you gave me a backpack, a racket, a lot of rackets. I have 4 rackets.
Miss Ring is supportive, she's kind, she's loving, she's like a grandma to me, and to everybody else, she's more of like a friend and a family member than like a coach.
She's a parent figure to a lot of these kids. They come out where they wouldn't have any access to outdoor activity, to the nurturing, to the loving that we get here.
And that's what motivates me today, to take this chance and come out here and continue with these kids who beg me to come out, who want to have a supervised program.
She's terrific. I wish everybody could be like Miss Lorraine. I wish I could be like Miss Lorraine.
I just want to say, Miss Lorraine, you're a great person.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amy Waters, the Executive Director of the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation. On behalf of our foundation, and in honor of the tremendous work of Miss Lorraine Alexander and her late husband, Milton Alexander, and their 40-plus years of service to New York Junior Tennis and Learning, I'm proud to announce a $100,000 Sports Matter grant to NYJTL Community Tennis Program. Here at the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation, we believe that sports make people better, and we're proud to donate to New York Junior Tennis and Learning to help us fulfill our mission and give every kid a chance to play. Congratulations, Miss Lorraine, New York Junior Tennis and Learning, and please keep up the great work. We wish you another 40-plus years of outstanding service. Thank you.
Wow, what a wonderful way to celebrate what we do here at NYJTL. I hope everyone now takes a moment at home to cheer on the life-changing work that Coach Lorraine has provided to our kids for 40-plus years and the extraordinary pledge Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation has made here today. Let's all take a second for a big virtual applause. I love it. All right, so this organization was founded on the benefits and connection between tennis and education. Arthur Ashe believed in it then, and NYJTL believes in it today. NYJTL does tremendous work on the tennis courts, but we cannot forget about the work done in schools. We work with thousands of children in more than 30 schools every day, and setting up a child for success through education can never be undervalued. This year, the process seemed more daunting, but our staff has stepped up to the challenge. Let's take a peek inside the Cynthia Jenkins School in Queens.
Hi, I'm HERLECIA Owens. I'm the site director at PS 37Q in Queens. My parents, when they found out that the pandemic was happening, school was definitely not going to be in session, they were worried about, well, what does this mean? Will my child fall behind? So when we said that we were going to be going virtual, they were so thrilled. When the students came back to school, they were thrilled to be back, but then when they looked around the room, it was different for them.
Before the pandemic, we've always had our protocols at NYJTL. It's just that now things are quite different. We have directional walking arrows in the hallway. We have room capacity signs outside. We'll be sanitizing areas. And we're also teaching these younger ones, like, okay, well, if you can stand like this and spin around slowly, then you know that you're further away from someone. So we're really trying to get everyone to do the same things that we were doing before, just, in a slightly different way.
When you go to NYJTL, it's like your second home. When I don't have NYJTL, I miss it because I miss playing with my friends and doing activities with my teachers.
To say thank you, we say merci, 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 merci.
It has been a life-changing experience for her. I've seen a difference in her, even working with Miss Owens and everybody else. It's starting to open her up. She's starting to be more confident. She's starting to draw more. She's starting to, open up and do things.
If I didn't have the ACES program, it would be very difficult for me to go to work and, have them get off out of school at a certain time and I got to be at work. So it would be very hard for me to actually manage my lifestyle and my programs that I have to do.
It's a tight-knit community here. I would call it a family. We are going to go far and beyond to ensure not only the safety, but then that we're also here to assist with any other needs that you may have.
So I really appreciate the program and everything that they do, and I'm pretty sure they love it 200%.
How much do you love your teachers?
A lot.
She loves her teacher a lot. She does, right? Right.
Hi, I'm Mary Carrillo, and I'm honored to be here to celebrate the powerful work of NYJTL. I love seeing the impact of NYJTL because we grew up together. We were both making our way in the 70s in New York City. I would go on to win the mixed doubles championship at Roland Garros in 1977 with my old friend John McEnroe. And during those same formative years, NYJTL was born through the vision of Arthur Ashe and his co-founders in 1971. And today, NYJTL has been serving the community for 49 years with dedicated coaches like Ms. Lorraine and at schools in all 5 boroughs, including Queens, which is my birthplace. When I think of NYJTL, I think of Arthur, especially when he said this: "True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all others at whatever cost, but the urge to serve others at whatever cost." Just like New York City, NYJTL has been willing to take whatever steps necessary to serve this community during COVID at whatever cost. Virtual lessons, social distancing at the tennis courts, new in-person safety precautions, extra tutoring too. NYJTL continues to be committed to serving the community at whatever cost. This sport has taken me to places I never would have imagined as a child. I never would have dreamed of traveling the globe, playing on the world tour, working in television, or covering the Olympics. I've covered a lot of stories in my day. Some of them are big and bold stories, and some others are quiet, under the radar. NYJTL is always a story I am proud to cover, and even more so to support. I wish NYJTL another 49 years of service doing what they love, helping these children on the court and in the classroom, and building back this city. I thank you for inviting me to join you, and I'm happy to pass it over to another NYC Essential and a good friend of mine, longtime NYJTL supporter, Polly Scott.
Hello, everyone. I'm Polly Scott, board member of NYJTL, and I'm so grateful that we can share this time together. My family's been part of this organization for decades, and I am so passionate about the work we do with kids through tennis and education. My message to you today is very simple and straightforward. New York Junior Tennis and Learning has been providing valuable service for New York City children for 49 years. Simply put, NYJTL is NYC Essential. No matter the obstacle, NYJTL continues to be there for the children of New York City in their time of need. The time has never been more crucial. As families face unprecedented struggles, NYJTL may be one family's only supervised form of exercise, one family's only out-of-the-household mentor and role model, one family's only safe space where they know their child is learning and building character, or one family's only means of academic support. Every New York City child is a part of our family, and we know that the combination of tennis and education is a catalyst for long-term achievement. NYJTL is an essential part of the very fabric of New York City. You can show your support today for this life-changing organization by pledging in the chat field now or visiting nyjtl.org/luncheon. So from our family to yours, thank you. Thank you for being with us today, and I look forward to celebrating our milestone of 50 years of service with you next year.
And with that, this now concludes the 2020 NYJTL Virtual Luncheon. It has been my pleasure to serve as your MC today. New York City and tennis has been an integral part of my life as well, so thank you all for your continued support of NYJTL. Thank you, and take care.